Hello everyone. In this guide I will show you how to modify the mech spawn table to change the spawn rate of mechs and add more mechs to the spawn pool. If your mod pack such as Battletech Extended uses full Xotl tables, then this video is applicable for you. First, go to the directory shown. This is where the Xotl tables are stored. They are in .csv format. You can view them in Microsoft Excel or Notepad. You should use Excel to edit and Notepad only for quick viewing. Note that we will be ignoring Vs and vehicles tables since they affect the spawn rate of vehicles in the game, which we are not interested. Make a backup first of all the original Xotl files before proceeding. This is because if you make a wrong change or if the .csv file is formatted in the wrong way, then it will cause the game to load with an error. This way, you can revert changes. Also, use only Microsoft Excel when editing .csv files. Some programs or even a .csv online website editor adds extra delimiters, which can cause the game to load with an error. For example, this is how the Origin Pirates.csv file should look like in preview, with Notepad, since that .csv file only has a single column. This is the wrong way of how the .csv file appears. Some programs add extra delimiters as mentioned. Also, the delimiter used by the original Xotl table.csv file is a comma in this case. Some programs or editors change it to something else such as a semicolon. Xotl tables are divided per faction, and some factions have additional tables such as for House Liao, there is Liao A and Liao C. This is because the House Liao table has a chance to roll an alternative table which is either Liao A or Liao C. You can modify these alternative tables, but for the purposes of this video we will start simple first, starting with the Oregon Pirates. This faction is essentially the entire Pirates faction in the game that you can encounter almost everywhere. Open the Oregon Pirates.csv file. The column on the left contains the mech name. The column on the right shows the weight chance that the mech spawns. The game will tally up all the possible weights of all possible mechs when deciding what mech to spawn in the table. So simply put, if you want a mech to spawn more often, give it a higher number. Spawn set to 0 means that the mech won't spawn at all. From my experience, the values can go as high as 150 to 200. Each mech must fall under the specific class it is under. For example, the Locust is a light mech. If you don't know the class of a mech, you can always search it in Sarna Wiki. You will also notice that there is a year date in the table. This means that the Oregon Pirates will have all of these mechs starting from the year 3025, and that their spawn chances will not change over time, meaning they will remain static. This is why Pirates is a great faction to add more mechs since they are a common faction you can get in contracts. Lastly, you will notice that there are entries above the table. This is what I mentioned earlier where a mech spawn table can choose to use another table instead. To the right is the weight chance of that happening, which you can modify as well. From my understanding, collection. Locals means the independent planetary faction in the game. Davian locals means if you are in a Davian-controlled planet and if it has an independent planetary faction contract, then it can choose to spawn a specific mech table called Davian locals. For example, we want to add Annihilator and JH variant to Pirates. Input mech_def_annihilator_ and JH, and then its weight chance to its right. Since it is an assault mech, this should be under the assault category. If you place it in the wrong category, it may result in an error loading your game or it might actually spawn in a one skull mission. I haven't tried it yet, so you can test it out yourself. To know all the possible mechs you can add, you can use the Battletech save editor to load the list. I have a quick guide on how to use it as well in the video description which you can view. From the list, you can then get the correct mech name of the mech and then just search in Sarna Wiki for what class it falls under. You can type in the name of the mech in the program rather than scrolling to get to it faster. The format of entry into the .csv file should be mech_def_mech_id. If you want to try out my modified Xotl tables, you can also download it as well from the link in the description and then overwrite them into your respective folder. Make sure you have already made a backup of your original tables before proceeding. Thank you for watching. If this has helped you, please consider liking and subscribing. Happy gaming!